And that's what they do. They come
Give her a
thinking that
calculator.
they're gonna,
Start to figure out calculator.
Yeah.
You'll be back in a half an hour.
Well, I didn't tell them I had a desktop adding machine that I use for doing my books and everything. And I had a couple of schools that go right there.
But we'll, yeah.
And I said, well, you guys can add it up on this and then tell me the price and I'll do the check.
No, I don't.
they wouldn't,
You do, and
at 6 o'clock straight up. Yeah,
Okay, ready?
they wouldn't know.
No, no, yes, no, yes.
Yeah.
Cambridge City Council now be in session. Would you please rise for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Evancho.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Laufman.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
McMillan. Wolverton. Zaleski.
Here.
Entertain a motion to excuse Mr. Loffman, Mr. Loffman, Mr. Wolverton, Mr. Loffman, did you make the motion?
I will make that motion.
And Ms. McMillan.
I will second that motion.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and that motion's granted. Reading of the minutes, Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we dispense the reading of the minutes and place on file.
Ms. Zaleski.
I will second that.
All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, and that motion's granted. Mayor's report, Mayor Orr.
Good evening, council. Weather's changing rapidly and people are on the move and the storms are in and out. I've got a little everything here tonight. On your paper in front of you, number one on my list is a request from code enforcement to appropriate $314 from spring cleanup proceeds, services by contract. I'm guessing that's tires, but that's not everything. I mean, the numbers aren't even in from all that yet, so I don't know exactly how that. But anyhow, that's what it says, so that's what we'll go with. Two, request from the park to enter into agreement with Pyrotechnico Fireworks Incorporated for the 2023 fireworks display. You know how I feel about that. Three, request from Utilities Director to apply for, receive, and appropriate a safety grant for $12,000 from the Ohio Bureau of Workmen's Comps for the purchase of a trench shoring, which is apparatus down in the hole. I think, Bill, you know what that's all about. And four, request from the fire department to appropriate a donation from the Cambridge Elks in the amount of $4,158 into the fire department equipment line item.
Okay, all four of those requests will be sent to the Finance Committee.
Just take a moment to say thank you to the Elks Club. That's 2 weeks in a row on that.
Amen.
I do have a few little notes in no particular order, just things that have been going on. I want to take a minute to thank Councilman Leonard for his auctioneering over the weekend. We got rid of some old junk vehicles, which they're not junk if somebody else fixes them up and makes them work, you know, so hey, it's amazing what that stuff does sometimes though. But at the same time, at least we cleaned up some things, got some more room down there. Guys have done a great job cleaning up. City compost update, like I predicted, we're hearing it, you know, people load up. We've done 1,000 different, told them 100 times. No one pays any attention until they drive down there and it's locked up. Again, we pick up sticks, calls ahead of time. As far as for-profit operations, they're going to have to do the old-fashioned way and go some of these other places and pay to get rid of it, or on a farm somewhere out where they have a friend or whatever goes on. It sticks. I get it. As far as trash, grass clippings, they will get rid of those with your trash hauling and stuff. Call ahead of time. It's going to change. Now, just so a footnote on that, just so we can use the pile and help get our sticks off the road, we just paid $7,000 to $8,000 just to have a bulldozer go down and move stuff around. This is very common what we do all the time. And, you know, we kept it quiet and we spoiled our people, including ourselves. And we had just all kinds of stuff going down there. Big bulk trees from all over the place. I'm not so sure we didn't have some come around the edge, make a trip over just so they didn't have to pay. So that's ongoing, but I'm just want to own up to it, doing the best we can and answering the questions. Tree City USA, I gave you all a bulletin there. Councilman Kogel, president, was there. glad to see anybody show up at times, but it's just well received. If you look at the name of the cities that were there, and we were the lead on that, I just want you to know that, because I think that needs to be put out there. And the Tree Group did an awesome job. Bridget Todd, president, and we gave a 25-plus year award to Sue Cowden, who really deserved that. I mean, caught her off guard, and she didn't expect that. But the labor of love them people have done over the years, I can't say enough. So just want to give them a plug on that. And then we followed that up with Friday with Arbor Day. I had a personal matter to take care of, couldn't really be there that day, but again, the memorial trees, if you look through our city park and notice, you'll start understanding when you see those tags under there, how that's helping frame our natural beauty that's out there. Fill in some of the gaps that have caved in over the storms over the years and things like that. I want to take a moment to thank the citizens of our town for backing the ambulance issue. That was more than huge. I think I heard many councilmen say that. Not going to get too in depth on that right now, but the chief and the safety director and all the other workers have been working hard trying to make sure that all these things, due diligence. The building, we did take ownership of the building up there that was in process for storage of some of our already fire engines and different things, as well as a place to park the ambulance when we get into all this stuff. And with that said, there'll be some other efforts come your way that I'm working on backstage as we speak to make sure we don't step in it. This is going to be very serious, and it's going to have to be, gently planned. Although they've done a lot of homework backstage, we can't just haphazardly start signing things and jumping around and maybe stepping some. So talked to the hospital a little bit on Friday. I think Councilman Avancho was there, CIC meeting. We talked to the hospital, and they're doing some great things out there too. So it's all good. That was very, very shocking and happy and all the above. I just like, oh my goodness. School is out this Friday, I believe, in the city of Cambridge. So I just ask everyone to be aware of that, the sound of my voice on that. The sun's out, the kids are on their bikes, they're jumping all over the place. Our on-duty police officers, again, our staff is a little bit tight there, right, and has been all year. But with those safety officers, we'll be able to come back to us, and hopefully we'll be able to have more visible presence in the park and in our neighborhoods as we move forward. The park's pretty busy out there, as we can see these last couple of weeks. Little League opened up over the weekend and had the chicken cookout, and the kiddies was out there t-ball and regular ball in the parade, and it's pretty much a symbol. Here we go. And with that said, the pool's going to open up on the 20th, which is about, I think, another week from now, about 10 days. So believe it or not, we're going to have water in the pool. So far, our early reports, all the pools holding water. We haven't blowed anything up or tore anything up with cement so far. The last 2 years, we started out with our annual 35,000 slap to the face or something. So we didn't have to do that. So we're hoping that we'll be able to move on to some other things. Fireworks, you'll find out next week, is going up about $3,000. So I'm going to use this moment to say, anybody feeling frisky out there, we're taking donations on that. But we'll cross that bridge. We've got a game plan, and their letters are being prepared as we speak. Unfortunately, got a little negative news in the park. We've had a little vandal action we haven't had for the last 6 or 7 years. But for some reason, we opened our bathrooms up, and someone decided that they didn't like the way they looked and smashed the toilet and a couple sinks. And we lost with all the shuffling of employees and people moving and bidding and this and that, our afternoon shift took a hit. Not having that gator run around probably makes a difference. On that note, the pool did get they already had a camera system, but it was very, very archaic and falling apart. They upgraded that a little bit, and with that, we're being able to put some feeds in at both Tasty Treat and the big pavilion and shine in some different areas. See some things we haven't really seen before. Someone said, don't tell them. I said, no, I want them to know. But we are going to catch somebody before it's over and pity them when it happens. Right, magistrate? Okay. But anyhow, it's just unfortunate. We haven't had that for a while, but Marty's locking the commodes up in the center part of the park at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Where the ball fields are, we've got them open, but again, you know, if you're up to the playground and little Susie has an outbreak and then all of a sudden the journey's a little further, you know. I know because I'm a grandparent now, you know. I could go on some more, but any specific questions, like I said, we're hitting on all cylinders. Everyone, the mowing's taking place and neighborhoods appreciate all the information. And the early verbal information is our cleanup was one of the biggest, even in the rain. So thank you to all the residents that was involved in that. Council President.
Any questions of the mayor? Ms. McMillan?
I just want to confirm, Mayor, because I know I'm going to get asked, fire, 4th of July,
Will be on the 4th of
on the
July,
4th of July,
which I believe is
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I will move on to reports of committees. Oh, I'm sorry, communications.
I have no communications.
Very good, then we'll move on to reports of committees.
See, you did that like you knew what you were
Yeah,
doing.
fair. I'm an idiot-
Report.
I'm an idiot savant.
Report of Finance Committee, May the 1st. We recommend that the following transfers and appropriations be approved. Appropriate $3,658 to park equipment. Appropriate $580,000 to Northwood Cemetery Capital Fund expense account from the unappropriated Northwood Cemetery Capital Fund.
Wishes? Just questions? I'm sorry. Any questions on that report? These are the reports. I see them. Now we're right back to the committees. All right, next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, May the 1st. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to advertise for bids for the sale of city-owned property, specifically Lot 73 in the Cambridge Improvement Company addition of the City of Cambridge located on Sarchet Avenue.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, May the 1st. We recommend that City Council authorize the administration to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the Northwood Cemetery paving project.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of City Services Committee, May the 1st. We recommend that council authorize the administration to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for wildfire reporting.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. Is there anything under unfinished business? If not, audience portion. Is there anybody here who would like to speak before? If not, we'll go to new business. Oh, sorry, Mr. David. State your name and address, please.
Resident David Gall, 831 Highland Avenue here in Cambridge. Just want to, first of all, congratulate the community, first of all, for recognizing that there was a problem and that with the, especially in the vote for the emergency services levy, obviously that's very important. It's also a very bold move at the same time, being that it's thinking forward as to how the community is going to move forward into the future. And that is a critical aspect of making sure that people that they're choosing to move into our community, that they know that they're also going to be served by our emergency services. So I think that it's a bold move, but it's the right move. And so I just want to congratulate the community on that. That being said, from May the 14th to May the 20th is National Police Week. Just as we did last year, we'll be doing the same this year. The Cambridge Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association will be doing their annual event, Food Truck Friday, this May the 19th at 4 o'clock. We'll go from 4 until 7:30, 8 p.m. We have a liquor license, so that's another good thing. But also more importantly, we have a volume or a variety of different food trucks. So what a great opportunity to be able to take in this. Oh, there's actually 6 food trucks.
Wow.
Excellent. So that is a huge benefit for the community because obviously the proceeds that are raised from that will go back into assisting our local community and also our police department. So I just want the community just to take that in and actually come out on May the 19th at 4 o'clock and enjoy some fun times. Bring the kids. Hopefully we're going to have some fantastic weather and be able to enjoy that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Thanks.
If I could add to that really quickly, I want to thank Jeff Leonard and Leonard Newland and also People's Bank because they are the two that are going to be sponsoring the music that we're going to have that night.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Ryan.
Very good. Appreciate that. Okay, anything else in our audience portion? If not, we'll go to new business. Anything under new business? Seeing nothing. We'll go to ordinances and resolutions.
An ordinance of transfers and appropriations.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to suspend.
Mr. Loffman,
Second to suspend.
roll call on the suspension, please.
McMillan.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Ms. McMillan,
Motion to pass?
Ms. Hill,
Second to pass?
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Leonard.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
That ordinance is declared adopted. Next, please.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to advertise for bids through public auction for sale of city-owned property.
Mr. Loffman,
Motion to suspend.
Ms. Hill,
Second to suspend?
roll call on the suspension, please.
Leonard.
I may abstain from that because I may be auctioning that off for the city.
Laufman.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hill, oh, sorry.
I don't know if you have enough with his abstention.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't have that. It'll have to go on for first reading.
Okay.
Second reading at the next meeting.
We'll place it up for the second reading next meeting. Next, please.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the Northwood Cemetery paving project.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to suspend.
Zaleski,
I'll second to suspend.
roll call on the suspension, please.
Evancho.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Leonard,
Motion to pass.
Mr. Vancho.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
That ordinance is declared adopted. Next, please.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for wildfire reporting.
Mr. Loffman
Motion to suspend.
and Ms. McMillan.
Second to suspend?
Roll call on the suspension, please.
McMillan.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Leonard,
Motion to pass.
Mr. Zaleski,
Second to pass.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hill.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
And that ordinance is declared adopted. I do have a question about the one, though.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure, Jeff, that you are?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I know I'm gonna do the auction, but there's no pay for that. When I do these for the city, there's no financial gain for that. So I don't know, should I vote or shouldn't I vote? If you guys make that call, and you want me to vote, I'll vote for
If
that.
you- If you are not receiving any pay
No
or any
compensation
compensation or
whatsoever.
any, then you would not be in a conflict.
Okay, then if you're okay with that, then I'll go ahead and vote on that because I volunteer my services to do those and
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve, or to, yeah,
Yep, motion to pass.
Mr. Leonard,
second.
yeah, we need a motion.
Oh, yes.
I'll
Like,
second
put the
it.
path. Mr. Vancho seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
That ordinance is declared adopted.
Just wanna make sure I was doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
There's your stuff. Miscellaneous, Mr. Vancho.
Yes, finance will meet next Monday, May 15th at 4:30 PM.
Now, Judge, appreciate the fact that you waited for this. Mr. Loffman's got to get back to his business. You know, people forget sometimes that we do this. We don't do it. We do it for the money and the praise. But we also have other businesses and other lives. So we are part-time. So I appreciate you, Judge.
Oh, no problem at all. My, how time flies. You'll have to forgive me here for just a minute. In 2018, I gave my very first annual report to this body. And I remember specifically coming to the old building. Some of you weren't here, others were, and talking about my plans for the court and giving the review of the year before and looking in your faces. And I could only imagine you were thinking, who is she? Number one. And how is she going to do all that stuff? Number two, and you know, what a change this is going to be if we can stand her long enough. Well, I'm before you tonight to make my last annual report. With the ending of Judge Nicholson's term, my job is ended and I plan to retire. I have had a 45-year career in the law and have decided I'm really sick of people saying, gee, you don't look that old. So I quit coloring my hair so everybody would say, gee, you really do look that old. But in any event, the time here has flown by. It's incredible to me. The friendships, the working relationships that you have provided to me through my time here in Cambridge have been immeasurable. I can't thank you enough. It has been the honor of my career, without exaggeration, to build and lead the team that we now have in the Cambridge Municipal Court. For everything that's been accomplished, and there has been much, the employees of this court deserve all of the recognition for everything they've done. They have risen to every occasion. They have been creatively solving problems. They've been adapting quickly to change. They make significant contributions every day to this community. And I am so honored to have been their leader. And so tonight I want to give you the annual report for 2022. And just as a little preview, guess what? I got some good news at last for you. But in the introduction to the letter of this annual report, knowing it was the last one, I talked about how a report is a story. A report isn't just facts and figures. And I often hear and so admire Mayor Orr when he stands up here and talks about all the things that city employees do behind the scenes and all the things and all the sacrifices they make all of the time for the betterment of this community. And the court is the contributing branch of government that certainly does that as well. And so, as my introduction to the report that I submitted to you said, as this report tells a story, this report is the story of dedicated public servants who work every day to make sure that our citizens receive fair and just treatment under the law. It's the story of diligent, often thankless work performed day in and day out, and in the case of our probation department, night in and night out, to improve our community and to make it safer. It's the story of working to help people improve their lives and reduce criminal behavior in our community. It's the story of assisting victims of crime. You never think about that. We assist victims of crime to understand a complex legal system and to help them heal from a tragic occurrence in their lives. And so I want to introduce to you, as this is the story of justice at work in your community. And for that, I want you to take a look at this to understand how important that work truly is. Of course, I know all of you read with great interest in depth the full report of the court, so I will not bore you with any of those details, but I did bring tonight a quick summary, of course, of the highlights and the famous Terry Liston graphs and charts and all of these things that I use every day at work. If you only heard my people talk about me, because I'm a data-driven person. I want the numbers. I want to make sure that what we're doing is working. And if it's not working, I want to do away with it and get something that does. So this brief summary of the report, I want to start off because I talked about the dedication of our staff. I started off here with the defining moment of 2022 for the Cambridge Municipal Court. That is, as I sat down to a Christmas dinner that, by the way, I had spent 2 days preparing, the alarm went off on my phone and there was a building emergency at the courthouse. I immediately excused myself from the table, went straight back, contacted Cambridge PD, contacted the fire department, and contacted Seth Kogel because I need eyes and ears on the ground here that I don't have. You know something? He was already there. I called Alex, our IT guy, Alex Rose. Alex, we're going to have computers that are going to be in a horrible situation. He was already there. They were there carrying out computer equipment and furniture and saving things in that building. I never had to ask. That's the team we've built. These are the people that are running this court that I'm so proud of. So let me talk about the good news. In the 2022 figures, we're seeing slight increases, hallelujah, to revenues. This is signaling but the beginning of a recovery. These are very slight increases right now. We don't have any trends at all. The last 2 years have been decrease, 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 decrease. But we're starting, I think, to see now that curve coming up and see a little bit of that upswing, and that's good. And we've done some things I want to talk to you about in just a minute about economizing in order to reserve balances in our special funds so that it will protect funding for the court in the future years. Okay, probably the most important thing I have to announce for 2022 is when I first arrived here, I developed an entire strategic plan. Matter of fact, it was a 42-point plan for the court. And that's why you guys were all looking at me strange. We have finished every part of that strategic plan. And we are just beginning now to start tracking some of the results from that plan. So here's what we did. Replaced and updated all the building security systems, including the camera system, including the metal detection system, and including the body search system, all done with no City of Cambridge dollars. We replaced and updated the case management system to allow now electronic filings. We're going to be seeing paperless courts here, and the next 2 to 3 years are going to be mandated. I have built all of the infrastructure that we need here to do that. It reduces our staff data input, and it totally revamps the entire way we manage cases and money within the court system. All done without $1 of Cambridge general revenue money. We have redesigned and significantly increased our community service program. I think you saw some of that at the cleanup. Yeah. And I can tell you the future of community service is bright. You heard, I hope, who our new director of community service is, Skip Wetherill. He loves the work. He is so well suited. He and I have just gone gangbusters, and we got great plans, and he's a wonderful coordinator for that program. And I think we have hit some real strengths there. And also, I have to say this, it's been my pleasure to work with him. I never had that opportunity before. He's a wonderful, wonderful person and a dedicated city employee. We created the pretrial services department, coordinated services with the Common Pleas Court for the first time to reduce duplication of services. All of pretrial services are paid for by grants. There are no Cambridge dollars that are spent on those services. That's totally Community Corrections Act and opiate response monies. We've implemented procedures and practices to meet state standards. When I first came here, there was really no functioning probation department, and we had to create one. And in order to create one, we needed money. And in order to get money, we had to create a program that met state standards. It was that chicken and egg thing. So I worked and worked, and some of you were part of my little brainstorming about how we were going to move things around and do things to get us in compliance. We got totally in compliance, and as a result, have been awarded every grant we've applied for. We have reduced court staff by 8 full-time employees as a result of technology and a result of redefining job responsibilities. So I went in, revamped every position, redefined every position, and we've used attrition to slowly but surely reduce staff. So I see those as all long-term benefits to the court. Any questions about that before I move on? I mean, I know that's a lot. So if we turn then to page 3, that gives you an idea of where we stand. Revenues increased by 7% from 2021 and 5% from 2020. Like I said, I think that we're just going to see a slow but steady, hopefully, revenue increases. Our case filings are still down and show continued reductions. That will be changed only with policing practices in the community, as well as staffing issues that have been addressed in all of the major agencies that serve our court: Cambridge PD, the Ohio Highway Patrol, and the Guernsey County Sheriff. So, so our case numbers are not recovering to any significant degree. On page 4, I wanted to talk about special fund revenues. They are down, but one of the things that I did was revamp the way we use these funds to maintain balances, because I was afraid we were going to need them. I mean, with the continued declines, that we want to make sure, we really want to make sure that special projects fund, the one at the top of the page, stays nice and solvent, because that's where the bond payment is made for the court building. And so we have to keep reserves there. You see that fund was depleted, obviously, in 2021, but not depleted nearly what it could have been if we hadn't made pretty significant cuts to keep that reserve there so that we can protect the bond payment. The other special fund is a computer fund. That one is a surcharge on every case that's designed to fund computerization of the courts. It's a set dollar amount by the General Assembly. The good news is the General Assembly is raising that amount. So we don't know yet what the new amount will be, but it is going to be an increase because courts need the technology. And this is designed to help offset costs of technology. Okay, in 2022, of course, we strengthened our leadership team. This is our year of transition. We will be transitioning from the current administration to a new administration in January. Our staff is 1,000% prepared and ready to go. I have attended 2 trainings at the Ohio Supreme Court about transition. You have to understand, we have not gone through this for over 30 years. And so to go through the transition in an administration in court, I have to have a full audit of all the case files. I have to have a full audit of all the money. I have to do all kinds of things to get ready for the new judge. And all those things are what we're working on this year. That's our focus, is to transition. And as we get closer, of course, by November, I'll know who that person will be. And then we can begin working on the day-to-day transition of how, because the new judge will have to hire the new judge's employees and get people trained and get things moving. And we're hoping to get started on the day-to-day work in November. That will give us, about 6 weeks to get things completed. Okay, and then of course this year we finally completed the new case management system. We've increased the community service program considerably. And in 2021, there were 3,660 hours. In 2022, there were 5,800 hours of community service work performed. Of course, we perform community service work primarily for the city. And then if we have workers and time, we go to nonprofit organizations. And then Skip also has a crew that if no one's assigned, he just takes them out to pick up litter. Because heaven knows we could use about another 100 people out doing that, picking up litter. We once again increased our pretrial supervision services by getting a grant increase. We increased the probation supervision collection fees, a 34% increase in that money being brought in. There's a fee charged for everybody who's on probation supervision, and we're now collecting that. We have an increased electronic monitoring program. It's paid for by the Guernsey County Commissioners, as well as the Community Corrections Act grant. And of course, we have partnered with the city the best we possibly can for Alex Rose to be available. I know he was out, Rocky called him Saturday night. He was out because Frontier had a problem at our building that they didn't even notify us about. But what it did was it shut off all the other city phones, unbeknownst to us. So Alex was out on Saturday night troubleshooting that. And so I just wanted to show you that operating expenses are declining, which is good, and just give you a preview of this year. So you see on the final page, the next to last page, just the first quarter, what we're looking at this year. And we have not seen significant change. It averages out to be just about the same. So I want to conclude with you as this body will obviously outlast me, but you will be here for years to come and be working with the court for years to come on issues facing the court system. And I wanted to identify a few for you. First of all, there are going to be costs and bumps and everything along the way in this transition process. We're going to smooth it out the best we can. Our budget normally gets submitted before the election. And so that might be a little problematic for me this year in the sense of how that's going to look, but I'm going to do my best. We have a number of significant building issues, the facility itself, that Rocky and I have been working on. The building's now 13 years old. It has no current hot water because the hot water tank that was originally put in the building is inadequate to serve the building. We know that. We've had somebody come out and look at it. Our carpet's worn out. It's a high public use building. People are walking on that carpet every day. And for 13 years, that carpet's going to need to be replaced pretty soon. We have had HVAC issues and other major issues that I believe are going to result in some expenditures. I mean, we already had to have join with the elevator project for our big project up there. We've got roof problems, we've got HVAC problems, we have electrical problems that are all coming to a head. And so I just want to just let you know that that you can reasonably anticipate some major expenses to be needed for a facility that's now coming on that age and really is starting to show some wear and tear. My last thing, our issues for 2023 is candidly, how do I keep a staff there through the end of the year? We have many people who've already left. We have many people who are planning on leaving. We have natural retirements that are going to be happening no matter what. But we have people who are leaving to go to law firms and people that are leaving to go to other agencies because they have no idea who their boss is going to be. They have no idea what the years are going to bring. And I don't fault them, but I keep trying to reassure them. And our other problem, as one lawyer told me who hired away one of my staff to run multiple offices in Ohio, you've trained them too well. They're too valuable. So of course I'm going to come in and offer this person $10 more an hour than you're going to pay her, right? Because she's trained beautifully. She knows everything. So we're going to steal her. Oh, thank you very much. Couldn't you just wait till December? Is what I asked. Steal her in December. Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to let you know in 2023, we've had major law changes that include unfunded demands on local courts. That comes as no surprise to you. Unfunded mandates come to courts, and we have a slew of them this year. There's going to be a new requirement that we text people notification of their court dates. And I've got to get that technology set up in that system. Major legal changes regarding the website access to court records that we're dealing with this year. And we have continuing compliance standards with the state that we have to meet. The good news is we've been designated by the Bureau of Criminal Justice Services as an overperforming court. That means we exceed all goals for administration of cases, and that's good to know. But everybody at the court constantly looks for a challenge because they know I'm not happy if we're not moving forward in some direction. So I hope that was enough to let you understand a bit about the court. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions of the judge?
I do have one, Magistrate Liston. When you talk about the filing of cases versus the processing of cases, now I know at one time with COVID, the cases that were being processed were backed up for obvious reasons.
Right.
And it was taking time to get everybody processed through. Is that the same thing, filings?
No, filing means the introduction of the case into the court. So when we talk about filing, that means that law enforcement brings us charges, or somebody's suing somebody and they bring us a complaint. So that's what's called the filing. It's the origination.
All right.
Processing the case is once it's there, what happens to it all the way through the system. That was put in total turmoil by COVID. However, we have now, we're right back to pre-COVID in terms of processing cases.
Great. And I just wanted to add some comments. I mean, being involved with Finance Committee and looking at when you did come in 2018, just the communication, the planning, the leadership, the grants, they've been awesome. And, we've been fortunate to have you, and I know it's awesome how you give credit to your staff, and I do believe that is true. Absolutely. I have no doubt that your staff is great, but you've helped drive that too, and you deserve a huge amount of credit for that too, and I appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you. It's
So
all
thank
up.
you for that.
It's all up here, Tom. It's all up here. No, I'm just
Need to
kidding.
write it down.
I've got everything you need. And I've always maintained that. I've said good leadership has a transition plan. I'm not a good leader if that court can't run beautifully, whether or not I'm in the building or not. And right now, I think we're primed and in a very good place. But thank you, Tim. I really appreciate that.
Anybody else? Ms.
I
Nicole?
just want to kind of reiterate what Tim said. Yeah, when you come in 2018, I'm like, hi, okay, I certainly didn't question your authority or your knowledge, but it has truly shown over the last 5 years, and we are grateful for that. We have seen a total turnaround of the court system, and that's something that was desperately needed. And has, while we've seen a decline in certain things, that's a given in anything that you do, and we certainly appreciate everything. And also, revamping and instituting the community service program is amazing. Not only through the city, but I see it on a personal basis through food pantry that I run. That they bring, without their help, we probably couldn't operate. And I actually have two of my volunteers that were performing community service and have returned since their community service and are pretty much regular volunteers.
That's a
now.
wonderful
A-
story.
and it really kind of opens those folks' eyes as to what is happening and what it is to give back to your community
Unity.
instead of unfortunately take away from your community by creating or breaking the law. I don't, especially through the city and our cleanup, and I think Skip's, what I've experienced so far, is doing a great job. But everybody that's been there has, worked very well with us, and I thank you personally for that, because that is just a true blessing to this community. And just everything in the probation, getting that going as wow, what a major step. But thank you, and I wish you the best and everything.
Well, you're welcome. I'll be coming back before, I mean, obviously, this isn't the last time you see me, because after all, I'll probably want some money. No. Look at him shaking. Oh, no, was she cooking up now? Was she cooking up now? But I mean, I will come back to say goodbye, but I just really wanted to have this closure to this last report. And this is really the one major lesson I've learned since I've come here is I really wish I had grown up here.
Aw.
This really, I really do. It's a wonderful community. So thank you all, and have a good evening. If I've answered all your questions, then I'm heading back to the big city.
Hey, good luck with that drive.
Got a long drive.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Judge. Anybody else in this list?
Can I give a real quick shout out to the Elks Club?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like the mayor had said, 2 weeks in a row, we have heard of donations received by them for the park department and the fire department. And those are over $7,800. What a great organization to be thinking of our community and to be giving to our city. Things that we need, obviously, and they're willing to step up and don't make those donations. So Cambridge Elks Lodge, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Hill?
Proud to be an elk. I just wanted to add to what David Gall said about our event next Friday. Also at 5:30, we will be recognizing the police department and showing our appreciation. It is National Police Appreciation Week, so we will be having. It's just a small ceremony, but just a little bit of a recognition. But that will be at 5:30. Hopefully, anybody that maybe is working when they get off work at 5, they'll swing by and come down for that as well.
Anybody else? If nothing else, Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
we're adjourned.